Hello, hello, hello. I am Zakiya Monique, Master Relationship Strategist. And thank you for tuning in to part 4 of the series. If you have missed any other parts, I'll be sure to link them in the description and in some cards up top. So enjoy part 4.
So number 6, there's no order because you don't have an effective conflict action plan. So another reason why things go sour is because you ain't got no conflict action plan. Listen, in couples counseling, I am amazed at the amount of people that don't have a conflict action plan, like conflict ain't coming. You can't talk to nobody, flip out the mouth, and expect them to still love you and keep loving you and keep loving you and keep loving you, and you keep talking to them, flip out the mouth. You can't dog each other in front of the children. You can't tell, you shouldn't be dogging each other, period. You can't tell your family everything and then wonder why they treat him or her funny. You have to agree on how you're going to handle conflict before it comes, because just as surely as you are two people with two minds and two different upbringings, there will be conflict. There will be conflict. There will be conflict. There will be conflict. Shall I say it again? There will be conflict. You know why? Because we are living in the age of blended families. We're living in the age of free thinking. We're living in the age of different religions. We're living in the age of so many options. And when you have so many options and so much information at your fingertips, it's so much that we can get lost in. I have never met so many people that are ready to be, like on a brink of divorce because of political differences. Like, y'all really that mad about Republican versus Democrat? Like they all crooked. Like they all crooked. So y'all really arguing about this? Don't none of them care about you if you ain't in the right tax bracket. So y'all really finna break up your vow? Like, this is the person you said you love, like you want to love forever, and you gonna break up your I want to love you forever because of who in the White House or who not? They only there for 4 years. You said they were for. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. Conflict is healthy because it gives you the opportunity to address things that you put on the shelf. See, my grandmother used to say, I'm gonna put it on the shelf. When you kept doing stuff, like if you was doing stuff and she ain't whoop you right away, she would be like, I'm gonna put it on the shelf. But when she took it off the shelf, it went down. Okay. So conflict is healthy because it allows you the opportunity to take those things off the shelf that you've been putting up on the shelf so that you don't, boom, explode, right? And it's okay for you, those little things that you allowed to slip and slide. Okay, now it's time to address those things. That's no problem. It's fighting that's not healthy. It's talking about cockeyed mamas, ugly kids, hidden below the belt. You ain't good in the bedroom. Whoa. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Because if he ain't good in the bedroom, you should have told him that in the bedroom. Like, baby, let's try this. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do that. You don't wait till you arguing. Because then the next time y'all in the bedroom, y'all make up, he going to be thinking about that. You got to watch the stuff you say. It's a time to express anything. And that ain't the time when you're fighting and you're arguing. No. If it's something you want him to do differently, hey. But don't tell him then. Don't get the arguing into, no. This shouldn't be done in front of other people for a reason. Number one, it ain't their business. Number two, people being around impacts our ability to be vulnerable. Because we don't look like no punk, right? So when, if your homeboy around and she get to cutting up, you don't want to look like no punk. So you're going to go hard and you're going to say some stuff that you probably like, I didn't really want to say that, but then she caught me in front of him. So I had to. Or same thing for you. You in front of your mama and all them, and you done talked all this junk, and so now he there, and you like, I can't wait till he come in here because I'm gonna tell him da. He mess around and walk in, and you was like, oh, I was hoping he didn't come in. Now you got to say something. But it wouldn't have been like that if they wasn't around. That's why you handle your business together. I'm not correcting you in front of nobody. You don't correct me in front of nobody. We're gonna handle that in the car. We're gonna handle that in the bedroom. We're gonna handle that off to ourselves so that we can be at our most vulnerable point, so we can say the things that we need to say, so we can keep it between us. And then after that, we can pray or whatever. And I love you, you love me. Okay. And we're going to move on. But we ain't got no fronts to keep up. Because see, when people see the disconnection between the two of you, they see opportunity to manipulate. Because now they don't got to, I ain't got to listen to him. Shoot, I ain't got to listen to him. That's my cousin's house. I ain't got to listen to him. That's my sister's house. I ain't got to listen to him. That's my so-and-so house. So now they start disrespecting your spouse because they saw you do it. Now they can call you and borrow money. And when you say, I got to ask my husband, you ain't got to ask him because they know y'all not in sync. People follow our leads on how they treat, on how we treat our spouse. If you disrespect your spouse, they'll disrespect your spouse. If you disregard your spouse, they'll disregard your spouse. But when you honor your spouse, then they'll know not to play with your spouse. Okay? If you honor your spouse, if you respect your spouse, they know not to play with them. Because they know to play with them is to play with you. So we have to be very careful with that. So that was number 6. Number 6 was there's no order. You do not have an effective conflict action plan. You need to establish a plan of what do we do to resolve conflict. Because conflict surely is going to come and it's going to be there throughout the entirety of your relationship. We'd be crazy to think it's not. Okay. Number 7, another reason why things sour in relationships is because you stopped checking in and forgot to evolve with them. We change every day. For 35 years, I didn't eat eggs. I couldn't stand the smell of them. 35 years. I entered a contest, a workout contest. And the one thing she said was, you can't be picky about what you eat. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. And we had to eat a lot of eggs a day. And I was like, I said I was going to do it, so let me stick to it. What can I put on these eggs? I had hot sauce on all kinds of stuff. And then I was like, oh, these ain't that bad. 35 years, I didn't eat eggs. And all of a sudden, I ate eggs. We changing every day. Okay. And those small changes build up to major changes every 7 to 10 years. You don't believe me? At 40, your body said, wait a minute, what's going on? All right. And then at about 47, especially if you're a woman, your body starts saying, let's get ready for menopause. Every 7 to 10 years, we change. The major changes. But every day, there are small, minor changes. So we cannot rely on what once was to determine what will be. We can't keep laying on what once was, because what once was may not be enough anymore because I've changed. You've changed. That's like an artist saying, well, I made a hit record back in the 60s. Okay, what you sang lately? Because ain't nothing wrong with you going on tour singing the old songs, but we would like to hear something new from you. You can't keep talking about what once was and expect that to hold your entire career. No, that's not how it works. I remember a man, them interviewing a man. He was 80. He had been married 80 years. Okay, married 80 years. He was 97. His wife was 95. And they asked him, what is the secret to being married that long? He said that he did not try to change her throughout her changes, but prepared for the changes, learned who she was as she evolved, and accepted her for who she was and not who he desired her to be. I'm going to say that again for the people who didn't catch it. He said that he did not try to change her throughout her changes, but prepared for those changes, learned to love who she was as she evolved, and accepted her for who she was and not who he desired her to be. We cannot stop checking in. Because it's like cooking. If you put on some food and you go watch TV, if you don't have a reminder or something set, that aroma becomes a stench and it lets you know your food is burnt. Trouble is a stench of relationships. By the time cheating happens, the problem has been brewing for a long time. It ain't that woman's fault. It ain't that man's fault. This stuff been going on. It was just the way they decided to handle it. But it's been going on. And the problem ain't even the person. The problem exists between you two because, as I always say, how did the space get between you two for somebody else to come in? Who opened the door for the person to come in? We would rather focus on the one we want to leave as opposed to the one who vowed to stay. Because it's easy to do. Because after you found out the problem, now you got to fix it. But if I blame it on this one, when they go away, I ain't got to fix nothing. But guess what happens? The same thing again. Because if they're not happy with you or with themselves, happy with the choice they made in you, it's going to continue to be a cycle until somebody changes their behavior or changes their residence. That's what it is. If you remove them, the spouse is still going to be disconnected, still disappointed, still depressed, still disgusted, still desperate, and still done. But if you think about it, that man that was married 80 years had about 10 different wives in one woman. He ain't need to cheat. He had 10 wives in one. Because if every 10 years we change, 7 to 10 years we change, he had about 10 different women that he was married to in one woman. That's why I don't understand men talk about they want multiple women. For what? Just wait 7 years, you have a new one. Okay, I'm all right. I'm just saying. Just saying. Number 8, we didn't choose well. We did not choose well. Sometimes we didn't know what to look for. And sometimes we did know what to look for, and we just got tired and settled and waited. So got tired and settled and got tired of waiting. And so we didn't choose well. Some of us just didn't choose well. And as a result, we realized, yeah, I probably should have waited. But by the time you knee deep and got babies and all of that type of stuff, you feel stuck. There's so many people that feel stuck in relationships because kids are involved and property is involved and money is involved and, y'all tied all up in business together and all of that type of stuff. But the truth is you're still miserable. I remember them talking about Bill and Melinda Gates and how he goes out with his ex, every year. Why? Because they got so much stuff tied up together. They like, hey, look, I'm going to be right here. You're going to be right here. Go on with your ex. Go on with your ex. Do whatever you want to do because we got too much tied up. We're not finna mess this up. We got so much tied up. But I'm not finna be miserable because we can untie all this. That's just me, though. We can untie all that. You take your half, I take my half. Shoot, I get tired enough. You can take 3/4. Okay? Because the truth of the matter is, give me my name. I'll make it back. I'll make it back. Gone. That's just me, though. Because you can't put a price on peace. So, just to recap tonight, some other reasons why things go sour. Number 5, we already did. Number 4, your representative left and the real you or real them showed up. Number 5, there's no order. You put other people first, and you got to be careful with that because a person's not gonna keep coming second, third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth, and seventh in your life, but they putting you first. No, not gonna happen. Number 6, there's no order. You don't have an effective conflict action plan. Like conflict ain't coming. It is. So figure out how you're gonna deal with it before you get in the midst of a heated argument. Number 7, you stop checking in and forgot to evolve with them because as surely as conflict comes, so does change. Okay, change sometimes bring the conflict. I'm just saying. And then number 8, sometimes we just did not choose well. We didn't choose well based on what we knew, and sometimes we didn't choose well because we didn't know. Sometimes we just settled. Sometimes we just settled for who we had at the time because our friends was getting married. Sometimes we settled at the time because I just, he was willing to marry me and I just never thought I'd get married. You know how many people will marry the first thing coming because they feel like nobody else is coming? So many people do that. So many people will marry the first thing smoking because they like, I ain't think nobody else was gonna come and marry me. Because we've heard so long that black women are not getting married, da 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 da. So when somebody comes along and they're willing to marry us, we just like, okay, no, because sometimes the counterfeit come before the real. I know, trust me. Sometimes the counterfeit come before the real. And if you take the first thing smoking, God ain't the only one send stuff. And God ain't the only one send people. So if you take the first thing, I always say this before I close. I always say when it comes to negotiation, you don't take the first offer. Unless they go high. But very rarely do people go high first. But when you sit down at the table, the way that you can not take the first offer is not be so emotionally attached. Not be so emotionally attached. So when I even told my daughter, when you sit at the table, always have more than one option. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whatever it is that you negotiate, always have more than one option. So that and when it comes to a relationship, I'm not talking about multiple men, I'm talking about you. Sometimes I'm the option. Sometimes if I don't choose you, I'm gonna choose me. So you always have more than one option when you sit down at the table for anything. So that in the event that you have to make a decision, you're making an informed decision and you're not just stuck. Some of us feel stuck, like this is all I'm gonna have, this is all I'm gonna get. And so therefore we will take that and be miserable, bitter, resentful. hurt, disgusted, disappointed, depressed, all because we took the first thing that came, because we were afraid. Fear will rob you. And so I hope this has been helpful. If it has, please, please, please share it. Let somebody else, hear what they may need, and they may share as well. But I thank you so very much. And I hope this has been helpful for you guys. And I want you to have a great evening. You already know how. On purpose. God bless you.